All right, are you looking to turn your trickle of leads into a flood? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to do that. Every single way that I'm going to share is based on strategy, on proven tactics, not theory. All right, this is a no bullshit guide. Strap in, we're going to cover it all. So you might ask, hey, why should I listen to you? Well, over the past few years, I've worked on some of the biggest sales teams, like Cole Gordon's team. I saw what we were doing to scale a company from 100K per month to $1 million per month. I've worked with over 300 clients in my own business of all different types of niches. And over the past year, I've really helped clients grow and monetize their accounts on all of social media. So I'm just gonna share what's working right now. So let's just dive right into it. So here's everything you need to know. Number one, understanding the difference between cold, warm, and hot leads. Okay, so a cold lead is somebody, they have no idea who you are. So in the entire universe of people who are your prospects, most of them don't know you. So this is obviously the biggest crowd, but oftentimes there's different levels of awareness that we have to understand. And so we want to find people and bring them into your world. How do we do that? Number one, your messaging. It's super important. So somebody who has no idea who you are, they don't trust you by definition. What do you need to do to get their trust? Well, it helps to start off with a pain point. Hey, if you're struggling with getting leads, check out this video. Or like, hey, here's the 3 reasons why you can't lose those last 10 pounds of stubborn belly fat. And then they'll click on that. Versus if you're like, hey, I'll help you get this huge, cool, pleasurable result, they'll just ignore it because they don't care. Unless you have clear signs of authority. So like Ty Lopez, here in my garage, I got this cool new Lambo. He had a lot of authority, which allowed people to overcome their skepticism, I would say, of like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. It's like, oh, he has something to say. Okay, so that's a caveat. A warm lead is somebody who has engaged with you. They know who you are. They just haven't raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested. So what you want to do with warm leads is think of them. This is an example that I got from my video editor, who's a badass. His name's Boris. He said, think of them like they're encased in marble, and you want to chip away at the marble. And what is the marble? The marble is their current beliefs. All right, so what are their main beliefs? In his case, he helps content agencies scale for the most part. I'm not a content agency. I just happen to work with them. And so one of the biggest objections and beliefs is it takes a long time to create content. And so he'll create content, which is like, hey, here's how to create your entire month's worth of content in 10 minutes or whatever. Something that breaks away at their beliefs, but gives them value. And then that increases their temperature. So that increases them from knowing who you are to now they like you and they're starting to listen. So you want to start thinking about, how can I prove my skill? How can I break their beliefs? How can I show proof that what I do works? And then just repeat that over as many different channels as possible. And then when they go from warm to hot, you just want to drop in asks. Like, hey, I just made this training, on Instagram, let's say. If you want to check it out, shoot me the DM training and I'll shoot it over to you. And then you can start a conversation. How do you know when someone's hot? If they're in your target market, they know who you are and they're interested, they've expressed interest. And so you can do that by putting out offers or asks like, hey, I'm doing this workshop on this thing. Would you like to come? Let me know. Hey, I have this new training on this thing, which will help you with this big result. Would you like it? Send me this DM. Or hey, I noticed that you follow me. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Would you like to work together? Yes. Okay, cool. That's cold, warm, and hot. Another key point to cold messaging is understanding the idea of fish bait versus whale bait content. So what is the difference? This is something that the guy that I used to work with, JK Molina, he says a lot. And so fish bait content, if you want to stop attracting broke people, I would strongly suggest you stop talking about money. For example, don't say, hey, I'll help you make 10K per month, because you're going to attract people that are not at 10K per month and they are broke. And so I would say, hey, what are some problems that my ideal client has? Let's say they're at the 10K per month mark trying to get to 30. Maybe for me, they want to hire an appointment setter because they're getting too many leads. Maybe they're really good at coaching, but they just can't close, right? So they want to get their closing rate from 30% to 50. So whatever it is, those are some of the things that I could talk about. Maybe they're starting to grow a small team and they want to know how to make it more hands-off for them, whatever it is. So whale bait is very important. Now the next thing is assets. What type of funnel do you need? What type of email sequences do you need? Do you need to opt in? Like, do you need people to give you their email to get your stuff? And I would say if you're not running ads, don't even worry about it. And to be honest, we're going to get into ads, but you don't even need that stuff to run ads. The most simple funnel you could have, funnel is your social media. Forget your website. You need social media. Content helps because if you're DMing people, they'll basically look at your page and say, hey, is this guy legit? If they even are interested in your message, that's a separate topic. They're going to check you out. Hey, is this guy legit? Does he have proof? Is there something valuable on his page? Does it look like he can help me? Okay. And so a really good funnel is Instagram and YouTube, and then Messenger. That's like the basic no tech version. If you want to start building funnels and you have email sequences and get people's emails and phone numbers, maybe so you can follow up with them, nothing wrong with that. It just depends where you're at. Now, a question that I get asked a lot is how do I automate my marketing? And there's like a 4-part framework. I really got this from Dan Martell, who wrote the book Buy Back Your Time. Genius. He's a genius. He helps companies in the SaaS space scale. And the way to automate your leads, there's only 4 ways. So number 1 is through paid media. Running ads, obviously, right? Number 2 is through PR. So you can hire a PR company and they can get people to talk about you and create a buzz. That's pretty simple. Number 3 is through publishing content because you get scale, it's automation. If you have a content team constantly pushing out reels and content here and there, like Hormozy, for example, you're going to get a lot of people over time coming in as leads. Number 4 is the next topic I want to talk about, and that is partnerships. Partnerships is like the sneaky way that nobody really thinks of, but for me, it's my go-to lead generation strategy. So partnerships, there's 2 parts to this that I think of. Number 1, who is creating a problem that I solve? So my main thing is helping people scale up their sales, how to get better at sales and how to get off the phones, how to bring on a small sales team and then scale that sales team. That's what I've done. So I think, who has my leads? Well, probably people that are good at lead generation. Hey Ben, this video is about lead generation. Yeah, but it's not like my main focus. I just know a lot about it. I've done a lot of it. So I think, okay, content agencies, lead gen agencies, coaches that scale and that stuff, I would like to connect with those people and just say, hey, I'll set up a referral relationship with them, or I'll try to go on their podcast. I'll try to do anything I can to create relationships with these people. And if you've ever read the book, The Ultimate Selling Machine, Chet Holmes, he talks about having a Dream 100. So the Dream 100 is, in his case, it was prospects that he wanted to work with. But the way that I do the Dream 100 is, okay, who has my leads? Who can I partner up with? Who has podcasts that my leads listen to? Who has a Facebook group that my leads are in? Who's creating the problem that I solve? Who has an email list? Who has a Telegram group? Who has a Discord? I'm making lists of all these people, and then I'm creating relationships with them. And I can't teach you in this video how to do that. You just need social skills, okay? So unfortunately, I can't. And speaking of podcasts, I can't stress this enough. Podcasts are one of the best lead generation sources out there. And they're a great lead nurture source as well if you have your own. But this video is about lead generation. I have a video that I created about lead nurture. I'll link it up here because lead nurture is huge. But in terms of lead generation, number 1, getting on other people's podcasts and delivering value. When I think about myself, how do I buy? The last person that I bought, I listened to a podcast, heard this guy as a guest, started following him. I bought his book. Next thing you know, I'm paying him high ticket prices. Okay, so getting in other people's audiences is one of the fastest hacks, especially if you're low on funds. Number 2, and by the way, there's a software. It's called Podmatch. It's like $50 a month, but it's like a Tinder for podcasts. So you can find podcasts in your niche. You can go on iTunes and search podcasts for sales, podcasts for da-da-da, and just come up with a list of these people. I would say write up an intro, a bio about yourself that's really, it's like your highlight reel, and send it to these people. And if it's interesting enough and they're looking for guests, you'll get on there. Okay, so you can create SOPs and things that you do every single week, like a checklist. That's what we get our clients to do. And I'll go into that at the end of this video, what type of checklist you need. But reaching out to podcasts or reaching out to people that have YouTube channels, like anything like that, it's huge. You gotta do that a lot. And then the other way to do podcasts as a lead generation is create your own, but just reach out to your ideal clients, like your perfect ideal client, and just say, hey, would you like to come on my podcast? And they're like, yeah, sure. So one strategy that I talk about a lot is the idea of asking versus inviting. So if you go on a date with a girl, or you want to go on a date with a girl, there's two ways to do it. You can say, hey, do you want to go to the movies with me this Friday? And she could say, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I like this guy. Nah. But you say, hey, I'm going to the movies on Friday with a few friends. Do you want to come? It's different, right? Because it's like, oh, well, nah, she could say, like, I'm kind of busy, or she might say, yeah, I actually do. Why not? And in either way, you get the objective of going to the movies with this chick. And basically this idea of inviting people to stuff, it's like the same dynamic, okay? So most things that work in dating translate well to sales and lead generation. And so yeah, going on a podcast with somebody, talking for half an hour, that builds a lot of relationships, and they might not pay you right away, but they oftentimes will, okay? So it's a great strategy. Now, when should you run ads? Well, I would say you run ads when your business is making money from organic methods, so that you always want your ads to be funded through your business, not through your bank account, ideally. But we've run ads before when we were just getting started to kind of kick things off. And now, like, the ad game has changed a lot. Back when I first started our agency, I wrote a VSL, a video sales letter. We ran Facebook ads to it, and we got people to book a call. They applied to speak with us. They booked a call. I jumped on the phone. I closed them. Now it's easier. We don't have to, like, those are a lot of steps. There's a lot of moving parts in that. Like, just writing a VSL, like, I was already a copywriter, so I could do that. And I already knew how to close people, so I can make that profitable. If you don't have those skills, do not do that. Do not. The easiest thing you can do is shoot like a minute video, call out your target market. Hey, if you have this, then da-da-da. Give them some value, make a call to action to follow you on Instagram. And then when they follow you, you can just start a messenger conversation with them. I have this framework for closing people over Messenger. I basically developed this like 2 or 3 years ago, and I actually did like a 2-hour workshop breaking down this messenger flow in great detail for a private client. So if you want that, shoot me a message on Instagram, Ben W. Byrne, the link's in the bio. Shoot me a message there, say messenger workshop, and I'll shoot you over a copy of that, okay? So anyway, back to the ads. You run an ad, you boost an ad. So you boost a video of yourself, you give some value, you call them out, hit some pain points, and you say, hey, follow me. And when they follow you, then you just follow the process once they follow you. Pretty simple. Basically, top of funnel, you can run the boosted ads. You can then retarget people with a case study ad, like, hey, book a call, right? Hey, we helped this guy who's just like you. Book a call if you wanted to know how it works. And then bottom of funnel, you just get them on a call and close them. Pretty simple. You can't really go wrong with that. The key to making ads work is your messaging, though. You have to hit them within the first 3 to 5 seconds. Do not talk about yourself. Do not talk about anything other than what's in it for them. Just make a big promise. Hey, in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to show you exactly how to close 80%, something like that. Now, the next way to get leads is through your personal brand. And if you look at the business world, there are business people and then there's personal brand people. And my prediction for the future is that the personal brand people are going to destroy the business people. You look at Logan Paul's, you look at who, like, you just named the biggest. When you think personal brand, who do you think of? The Kardashians. All these people have personal brands. People look up to them. They can sell whatever they want now because they have this personal brand. And so in my mind, Instagram is by far the best platform for creating a personal brand because it's video. You have stories. You can message people. There's many different ways that you can engage with people. There's Instagram lives, there's all that stuff. But in my mind, the way I think of a personal brand on Instagram is that just like the Kardashians, why people like the Kardashians, and if you think, why do people like fitness influencers? Why do people like makeup influencers? It's because they do this the most. They're talking to you the most on camera. And so you have to create that in your business. You might say, I don't want to do that. Well, then don't create a personal brand. Just use ads or something. That doesn't matter. But if you want to really like compound your leads over time and your trust and create like a micro celebrity effect, which makes selling so much easier, you're going to want to create a personal brand. And because right now you might be selling one thing, but if you have a big personal brand, you can sell many different things in the future. Okay, so it's all about time on camera. It's about watch time. It's about sharing more of who you are. And I think of my Instagram, for example, like my own little reality show. Every day I kind of do the same things. So there's a bit of routine. There's a bit of, what's the word? If you look at Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, there's certainty, there's significance, there's growth, there's love, and then there's uncertainty is one of them. Okay, so I do the same things, but I say different stuff. And so people are like, oh, like, what's he gonna say today? Sometimes I'm mad, sometimes I'm in a joking mood, sometimes I'm whatever. I make sure to be real on there. And then I make sure that I hit them up with strong calls to action for the people that are hot and want to work with me. So I'm not like forgetting about the business part. And now the next thing is understanding that you want to create what I used to call a content vortex. So just like I bought from that guy I mentioned earlier, because I saw one piece of content from him, I liked it, and then I got into his content vortex, which was his YouTube channel, his Instagram, stories, book. I bought something for 20 bucks. Next thing you know, I bought something for like whatever, $3,000. So I like to create that with my leads. And so I know that at the top of the funnel, people don't know who you are. So you have a few seconds to capture their attention. But once they start following you and they're into the content vortex, they're swirling around, they're watching you more and more, they're thinking about you more and more. If you're showing up with value and you're showing up with proof, hey, I can help people just like you, and you're like making them feel good, and you have this like reality TV show effect going on where they don't know what they're going to get. They just get hooked to you, and eventually you start releasing longer form content. So this is where something like YouTube, like what we're on right now, really helps. Podcasts, anything like that really helps. Even email, something where they can just go deeper. If you have a book, like books are great. Something where they can consume more and more of you, because it takes like 7 hours for someone to go from not knowing you to like ready to buy. Typically, it can be shorter than that, but typically for like a high ticket sale, you need time, you need watch time. All right, so that's where the content vortex is. And related to the content vortex, at some point you want to get leads off of social media, or at least off of the main ones, because it's really easy to get banned off of Instagram, off of Twitter, all these ones, whatever you're using, like LinkedIn maybe. So I would strongly suggest you get either like a Facebook group, a school group, Telegram, what else? Email list. Those are the main ones. Maybe a Slack channel, it just depends on where your leads live. Take them off of these social media platforms to other places that you can control as soon as possible, because these freaking platforms are so finicky and fickle. Like I'm still shadow banned on Instagram from some stuff I made a few years ago during a certain pandemic. But anyway, the next thing is when you have your leads, this isn't so much of a lead generation thing, but it's going into lead nurture. Like you want to make sure that you're surrounding them. So you're hitting them up on every channel that you can get. So I would strongly suggest when you do get someone in as a lead, you try to get their phone number, their email, anything you can, right? So you could be doing cold email and stuff like that. I didn't even mention that in this video, but I like to get as many different ways to contact them as I can. So DMs, email. If I have their physical address, I might send them something in the mail. Text message, ads, retargeting ads, content. Retargeting ads, guys, just you can spend like $1 a day on Facebook and retarget all of your audience. You can just stay in front of your audience like forever, and it costs you $30 a month. Like there's no conceivable reason why you wouldn't want to do that. So it's all about becoming a master of follow-up. Now the next thing about lead generation is I would like to sell to buyers, not leads. Okay, so this is like a weird mentality shift, but even if somebody pays you $1, they are infinitely more valuable than somebody who is just a lead, somebody who's just interested, right? They've raised their hand. And so what I've seen working right now is a low ticket workshop model where people pay anywhere from $1 to $100. They come, they get some value, and then at the end you make them a pitch. So a workshop buyer or a book buyer, these people are going to be worth way more to your business than someone who's just following you. All right, so you got to get something that's low ticket, high value. And then what's another way to get leads? Well, guess what? If we think in terms of trust, because lead generation is a game of trust, trust is huge. So there's people that have no trust who are completely cold. And then who's the warmest person that you could hit up who would be a potential lead for you? Well, guess what? People who have already paid you. It's like a crass example, but the easiest woman to sleep with is the woman that you're already sleeping with, right? So hit up either current clients and get some referrals, hit up old clients and resell them, see if they need some help again. Most people just forget about this and they kind of churn and burn through clients. For me, once someone becomes my client, usually we're friends after. Like I still talk to my very first copywriting client, and we haven't really worked together since, I don't know, like 7-8 years ago. We still talk. I'm actually gonna be doing some work with him like very soon to grow the sales team. But yeah, keep these people in your world. Resell old clients, get referrals. It's such an easy, low-hanging fruit of different activities you can do for lead gen. It doesn't make sense not to do it. Now, let's talk about setting appointments when you're doing your messenger conversations. A lot of times people get way too in their head about this, and you want to keep it simple. So let's say you're a mindset coach. The way that you want to approach your conversations, this is just a general rule, is that you're not there to sell your program. You're not there to sell your expertise. You're there to have a conversation with somebody, open them up, and see if they have a problem that you can solve. If I'm a mindset coach and I'm selling mindset coaching, and you're telling me that you have this problem, my business isn't growing that fast and my sales are down, I'm still gonna get you on a call. I'm not gonna talk about mindset stuff within the DM conversation. It's all gonna be about you and your problem, what you've tried, what is the gap, and do you want help? Okay, cool, let's have a quick chat. I've helped people like you before. Regardless of whether you wanna work with me or not, happy to see if I can help and share some of the strategies that's worked for my clients. And they might say, perfect, that sounds amazing, cool. Okay, so when you're setting a call, it's a different skill than selling. Selling, you're selling them into your program. Setting, it's all about them and their problems. Now let's talk about data and habits. So tracking your data is very important. So if you are not running ads, I would at least look at your metrics and your insights and your analytics to see which piece of content are really taking off, so that you can use that to see, okay, I posted this one, I got this many views, I'm gonna double down in this type of content. That's important. But really, when it comes to data, you wanna be able to predict how many leads you're gonna get. So if you know that it takes, on average, of every 100 reach outs, every 100 DMs, you get a certain amount of conversations, you get a certain amount of people booking a call, and then you close a certain amount of them, then that gives you predictability. So, okay, I just need to send this amount every single day, right? And so what we would do with our old clients when I worked on my last company, we would give all of our clients checklists. On Twitter, we would have a checklist. On Instagram, on whatever your platform of choice is, you can make your own. I would say, okay, here are all my lead sources. I did this as an appointment setter too, by the way. I would look at, okay, what are all my lead sources? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as an appointment setter, this is the way I thought about it. So the top lead source for me is this platform. It's doing this. Okay, the second one is doing this. The third one's doing this. The fourth one's doing this. In the case of being an appointment setter, the first one would be a new lead. I would text them and call them. That turned out to be the highest amount of new sets. The second one would be people who join our Facebook group. They say, hey, I'm interested in this. I would message them on Facebook. Third one would be people I've spoken to a month ago. They're still in my hot list, but they just kind of fell off and I forgot to follow up with them. By the way, a good lead gen source are people that you've spoken to in the past as well. The thing is, you just come up with your own lists and then you look at your past month, 2 months, 3 months, where did most of my leads come from? Oh, they all came from me posting this type of content and then sending this type of DM. And then they came from me running this Instagram ad right here. So I'm just gonna double down on these 3 things, and then I'm gonna spend all my time on these 3 things. So if I'm not on a sales call, I'm going to be, first I'll be doing this one, I'll be in my Facebook group. Second, I'll be messaging people that just joined. And third, I'll be hitting people up that follow me for my ad. Fourth, I'll be hitting people up that I spoke to within the past month. Then fifth, I'll be hitting people up that I started a conversation with, but it ghosted. Seventh, I'll be doing this. And so you come up with your own checklist. I would have podcasts on there. I would have a certain amount of outreaches on there. I would have a certain amount of content on there that proves your competence. That's like the whale bait content. I would have a certain amount of story posts if you're on Instagram, long form. It just depends on you and your business, but you come up with your own list, okay? Go back through this video. I would love to know in the comments below, what will you be using in your business? What were your takeaways? And also, what do you sell? Comment that below. Now you have a lot of different ways to generate more leads, but now the question is, how do I close them? Because when the lead's coming from a cold traffic source, you gotta handle it differently than a referral. And so the biggest skill in sales is knowing how to close somebody depending on the context of the conversation. So that's exactly why I put together a free training for you on how to close up to 80% of your leads, no matter what the context is, so that you get the money to travel the world, do what you want, grow your business. All right, guys, so if you got value from this video, hit that like button, make sure you smash the subscribe, and check out this next video, which is all about increasing your show up rate. So if you're getting ghosted a lot, you're gonna watch that. You're gonna get a lot of value from it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. You stay great. Catch you in the next one.